Hey guys, just wanted to share with you my strategy desk setup. I'm going to go through a couple of different things, talk about these different columns and so forth in strategy desk that I use, and also going to cover one of my trades and how I use time and sales screen to help facilitate those trades. So just a couple housekeeping things real quick. You'll see on the screen, this is actually like a video of a video. I screencasted my strategy desk during the trading day on December 24th, 2012. So you'll see a yellow crosshairs floating around. That's my mouse. That you'll see that mouse movement and those clicks are from when I was actually trading that day. And then in this video, you'll see blue crosshairs. That is currently my mouse as I'm recording this video to point things out to you. So just so that's not confusing. But real quickly, I'll go through what each of these columns are, and then we'll hit the play button on the live video, and you can kind of see how things unfold and how I utilize Strategy Desk. I've always used Strategy Desk as my platform. I've gotten really good at programming and developing formulas for Strategy Desk for just about anything you can think of. And so I've been able to put that to pretty good use. So what I have up here in the upper left-hand corner, this is I have a set symbol list, basically every stock from $4 to $25, and then it's this column, this window rather, is set up as a gap screener, and you'll see that in live action. Basically, it's filtering out any stocks that gap down with any decent percentage, and I'll explain why and how I use that later. This window here I use to insert stocks that are news driven that could turn into volatility plays. And this bottom window is just a blank window that I throw um, stocks throughout the day to watch in, whether somebody else mentions them in chat, etc. This chart, don't worry about this chart yet. I'm actually using, this is a still photo of the chart ALXA that I'm going to use to explain the trade with the time and sales window. It's basically covering up my, underneath this on a normal day, I have my broker platform there. I use SureTrader as my broker, and I'm just basically using this photo to cover up my account information, so not everybody can see that, but then also we'll use that photo when I explain time and sales. Then obviously time and sales window and level 2 chart, and then this is just a watch list of the major markets, Dow Jones, S&P, gold and silver, etc., just so I can kind of see what those markets are doing throughout the day. So as far as the column goes, obviously you have the ticker symbol column. This column, I actually have a formula in there that whatever dollar amount, for me, I choose a set dollar amount that I leverage each time I place a trade. So basically, this just gives me a quick glance. It auto calculates for whatever set dollar amount I put in there. That's how many shares I have to either buy or sell short to reach that dollar amount. So it's very quick for me to figure that out. I don't have to do that on the fly. Then obviously the last price the stock traded. This column is a gap screener, and you can see this represents percentage points, and so you can see that each of, like this stock here, HOV gap down 3.8%, RIM gap down just over 16%, etc. You look down here, here's one that gapped up less than 1%. So that's a kind of a gap screener. One of the things that I take off and that I don't use is when you look at any stock price or not price, but change in percentage that a stock does from day to day. Typically what you see on any charting program, the percentage that it gives you is from the close of the previous day to the open of this day, and then any change throughout the day that it's made there. Well, I don't find that very useful. So I took that out, and what I have here is how much the stock has actually moved percentage-wise within its current day. So it doesn't take it, before what you would get is you might get a stock that gaps up, well, like RIM, it gapped down 16%. Well, when you look at that on a normal percentage change in various platforms, it might gap down 16%, but then it might not move more than a 0.5% intraday. Well, that doesn't do me any good, because when you look at on normal platforms, you look at the percent change, it's calculating in that gap down, and so that's not very useful for me. So it looks like it could really be moving when it really isn't. So this is the initial gap down price, the close from the prior day to the open of today, and then this again is the current actual change in percentage for that day. Now, not to get too confusing here, this next column is the overall volatility that a stock has moved within that day. And what I mean is this is calculating the very low of the day and the very high of the day and the percentage difference between the two. This prior column, hopefully that's not too confusing, but well, let's take Velt here. So it's moved from the low of the day to the high of the day. It's moved 8.67%. But from the time that it opened to where it currently is, it is up just over 5%. So this is an overall total daily range where it's moved. This is where it currently is. So if it's kind of bouncing in the middle, this will give you the actual true percentage change. Hope that kind of makes sense. Email me if it doesn't. This next column, I developed a formula that it is taking the current 5-minute candlestick bar and it is telling you how far percentage-wise that bar has moved. Now don't get confused on these two columns with the negative sign here. Disregard that totally. It's just the way that the formula is programmed, but the numbers are right. So don't get confused by that. Just focus on the numbers on these. So the 5-minute bar, it's the same formula as this is for the whole intraday, for the whole day. This is the same formula for the current 5-minute bar. So as a new 5-minute bar starts and forms, basically this column resets. Now, why do I want that? Because if there's a major breakout during the day, this column's going to tell me instantly. It's going to say, holy smokes. I mean, like if you look at HOV, in the current 5-minute bar, it has moved 4 percentage points. That's big. So I want to know about that stuff. This next column is simply this same formula, but built into a color code column. So why do I use this? Strategy Desk actually has the ability to trigger an alert. So I'm telling this column, if I get any 5-minute bars that move more than 2% in that current 5-minute bar, flash yellow. Not only when it flashes yellow, I can set Strategy Desk to send me a text message to my phone that says, hey, HOV just moved more than 2% within that current 5-minute range. So that's pretty good stuff. This column, again, hopefully it won't be too confusing, and when you see this stuff in action, I think it'll kind of make sense. I'm going to wait, in fact, until we start playing the video to show you what this column does. So I'm going to go ahead and click play. This is right at the open on December 24th, 2012. So you'll see as the market opens, we have some, there it goes, it just popped open. So you'll see my gap screener, you'll see it start to phase out these stocks. It takes a second for it to pick up all those current stocks that are gapping down. And what I love about Strategy Desk too is these different columns, you can sort by these columns. So I'm looking for gap down plays, and then I'm looking for not only the gap downs, but I'm looking for the ones that are moving percentage-wise, that have volatility. I'm a scalp trader, so I'm in and out of the market. I'm looking for very technical setups, and I want to find those technical setups on the most volatile stocks. You can find good technical setups all day, every day on various stocks, but if you have a stock that has a daily range of 1 or 2%, that doesn't do me a whole lot of good. I want to find the big movers so I can take full advantage of that volatility range. So as we're going through this column over here, I use this a lot too. This is one that I developed that is telling me if it's reading 0, that means that the stock is currently at its low of day. Same if it reads 100 down here, like on Groupon, that is at the high of day. Now, you might wonder, well, why do I use that? Well, I have a different color code system. See how this is like 10%, 9%? Now, when I say percent, that has nothing to do with the stock's volatility. This is only saying, hey, I am currently 10% away from the low of the day on CPN right now. So how do I use this? I use this to catch stocks that are coming up that are about to test the low a day or high a day. I can tell that'll pop up on my screen and I can see, oh, it's number 10, or look, number 5 down here. And you'll watch and you can see it drop or see it bounce back up to 11. So it gives me a pre-warning that, hey, we're going to have a test at either intraday support or resistance levels. I use that a lot. It comes in really handy. So that kind of just gives you a quick visual of that. And you can see these other formulas in action here. You know, on OIIM that I have on my screener, it's moved over 3.5% in that 5-minute bar. So it's turning this box yellow, saying, hey, there's an alert here. So again, you'll see I sort my columns by high volatility. So I have all my gap downs right here. I have all my news stocks that I'm watching that I put in right before market open here. And then I just wait for the setups. It seems like every day there's a good setup. You just have to be patient and watch for them. And again, I'm jumping on those ones that have high volatility. The one I ended up playing today that I'll show you later on is ALXA. You can see right here in the first couple of minutes, it's already moved over 2%. That's a pretty good move. And so what I'll do, and again, time and sales, if you guys don't know what time and sales is, this is, I use level 2 charts, but to me, and again, this is all about developing your own trading strategy. To me, level 2 is not as good as time and sales in normal stocks. And why I say that is time and sales gives you the true and accurate numbers of orders that are coming through the system. I mean, somebody could flash up here on the level 2, a 10,000 bid for say, and that might be totally bogus. But what you will see here is real numbers coming through. Not only the number of trades, the number of tickets here, but the volume of each of those tickets. And so we have ALXA highlighted right now, and you can see that there's a lot of selling pressure here. There's a lot of red. And this doesn't necessarily mean that these are 100 block orders, but a lot more accurate. And then you see some buys coming in at 2,700 and so forth. What you'll see is when these are testing key levels of support and resistance, which I'm going to fast forward the video here in a minute and show you for my actual trade entry. To me, it really helps gauge sentiment of how is it just a quick flash pop, or is it something that is really building up buying or selling pressure to move in a direction. So what I'll do is I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to fast forward to kind of the area where I took my trade. And if you have more questions on this, we can always cover that later. Just shoot me an email. Let me get my video queued up here. So basically where I'm going to start this video is I saw ALXA, again, was watching that, and as these bars formed, this is 2-minute chart, should have clarified that, 2-minute chart on ALXA, and as it started to come up and test the high of day, that's when I really gained interest in it. And so we'll just kind of watch here for a second, and you can see the buys coming in. And sorry, I kind of flip between my charts here in parts of these, but this should be a good example on ALXA. So I've picked it up on my screener, and it's got my interest going. And so I'm looking right at the 520 area. On the time and sales chart, the lighter lime green obviously means a buy, and the lighter pink is a sell. And then you'll see here in a minute, you'll see a dark green means high of day. So that means that the ask price is getting hit, which is the highest of the day. And same with a dark red. If you see a dark red, that'll be the low of day. But so here's right here where you see that dark green. So that means that, I'm going to pause it for a second. That means that we're getting hit on the ask price. So here's the other thing that really piqued my interest. As you see this time and sales ticking through, we're getting some decent sized orders on the ask price, and not only decent size, but several of them, and even at the 5.1999, that's 520 if you ask me. Now look here over here on the level 2. You only have one seller with 5,400 shares. Now it could be bogus, but you see the spread here. The next, so if once those shares are gone, the price bumps up to 523. That's it's going to be a new high a day, and you have a lot of bids over here on the 518 comparative to what you have on the 520 ask side. So as you play this through, I haven't taken my trade yet, and I'm seeing these stack up, and I'm seeing this pressure. I mean, you have all these 518s, 519s, you have 520s. These are all 520s here, the 519, 999. And you're getting some decent sized orders here. So I submit my order and I get filled at 520. And you just see this pressure building, and and again, see here, now we're at the 522, so it's popped that high of day, and you just continue to slowly see these bids, the ask price getting hit, and then you'll see in a minute, you'll see the little dip here. So we've popped up. You have some sellers that are going to move in because it's a high a day, not a huge deal, and there is patience involved in this, but you'll see it dip just a little bit, but there's no real. You see how they're still getting hit the ask price at 522 mixed in with some of these sell orders. But the big thing here too is that the price really isn't dropping. There's still people moving in and buying at the just a couple of cents behind the the high a day. So you just kind of hang tight and watch. You see that there's 519. There's not very many on the 519 side. Here comes 520 sneaking back up on the level 2. So I really use time and sales and level 2 chart in conjunction with each other. I don't, it just helps me confirm. And you'll see once it pops that high a day, and here where it's really holding and testing that resistance again. And you'll definitely see when it pops. You'll see what I mean on the sentiment confirmation. But you had a few sell orders all at once that trickled in right at the high day test. But again, you could see this pressure building again and building again, getting hit on the ask price. So let it unfold here. And a lot of times on breakouts on the high days, you won't even see this much lag time. This is a little bit of lag. And what we would do is, for my trading side, I would keep my stop tight. And so here again, you have your getting hit on the ask price. Here we are again. We're back to 520, and then the next is 522, and then up to 525. So you can tell that the buying pressure is really building here. And when it pops, you'll see what I mean. But we keep getting hit on the ask. So that tells me there's a lot of sentiment of people wanting the stock to go higher. Now I just keep my stops tight. So if it goes back the other way, you'll see that. You'll definitely see that in time and sales. You'll see the sentiment change, and people wanting to get rid. Now here we are again. So we've just broken. We're back up to the 522. I'm pausing it here for a second. So we've hit 522, and now look, 522 is gone. We're up to 523 on the chart, and we've got. You'll just see this unfold. Now, as you see this unfold, look at the size. If you can look at the size of the orders that start trickling in here as this price pops higher. And again, keep an eye on the level 2. Now we're at 523, and not a lot of room there before it goes to 524. Now you saw that big 14,000 on the level 2 at 524, and then it just disappeared. That's just a bogus flash. But here now we're up to 526, 527, and there's $11,000 or 11,000 share order, 2,900, 1,200, 800. I mean, these are larger orders that are coming in, 5,000, compared to some of those sell orders that we saw before. They were just 100 trickle orders. And I had set my part of what I'm working on for my trading is I tend to watch after I'm in a trade. Rather than staying focused on my time and sales like I should, I'll watch my broker screen. And then once I get a good chunk of change, I'll sell. When really I should be watching my broker screen. See, we're up to 528, 4,500 shares, 2,000, 1,000. good size orders, and our sell orders are small and intermittent. So these are just some people taking profit. I submitted my sell order at 529. I should have just continued to watch my time and sale screen until I see that the momentum and the sentiment has started to change back the other way. So we're at 530 now. We still have some solid orders coming in. Notice how there's not a lot of sell orders. Um, Now, when you start noticing a lot of sell orders at the top here, you'll see what I'm talking about, where you can kind of see people starting to take profits, and it's going to start to reverse to go back the other way. Um, Now, 531, you get hit with a splash of sells, but that's okay because all that does is freeing up more shares for people to take this thing higher that want it to go higher. But what you'll see at the end, and I'll pause it, is when it does get to the top here, I'll explain that and I'll pause the video. But now we're up to 532. So you had a flash of sell orders, but yet we still have some solid buyers coming in, still willing to pay the high day prices for this stock. Um, this is where I should have been um, submitting my orders to sell, because you still want to sell in the pop. You don't want to try and sell at the very top. You'll get stuck. But right here, there's enough liquidity in the market to easily take profits, even if you're in a large amount of shares. There's buyers there, and we're up to 538. And here's where it gets kind of interesting up here. You kind of see this exhaustion pop right here. Now I'm going to pause it. So we're at 538, and you have a few thousand orders. Look at this. So we go from 538, you saw it all flash here at the same time, and look, we've got some buyers at 544. So this stock, literally within 2 seconds, jumped over 1%. So we went from 538 to 544. That really, I didn't see that until I came back and made this video. But that should kind of be a clue too, that that's far too far of a jump. And see, now we got people that aren't willing to pay those high of prices anymore. That's why we're getting that lime green color back. And you'll kind of see this now. So we've had a solid streak of people willing to pay top dollar for the stock for the high days, and now we're kind of tuning back. Now look at this. Sentiment's really changing. Not only do we have the sell orders, but we have price action sell orders. So we're going from 539 down to 535. And you'll just slowly start to see it reverse. And that's these doji candlesticks at top. You could still get out. I mean, you could see how it touched all the way up to 544 just in 2 seconds. And then now we've got these hesitation bars. And you should be able to start to tell here that now you could wait see if it went higher. You'd still be safe to wait, I suppose. And I'm sorry, guys. This is a 1 minute chart. I told you 2 minutes at the beginning. This is actually a 1 minute chart. So you have 3 minutes here where you could really see these candlesticks forming. And as you see these candlesticks putting in lower highs, it should definitely cue you in that, hey, this is time to take my profits and get out of this trade. Now, could it go higher later? I mean, could this be a pullback to go higher? It could be, but that's why I'm a scalper. I don't leave anything to chance. I'll watch for the technical setup for the move, buy and sell the pop, and then get in and get out. Leverage high, get in and get out. Keep my stop short, because it could set up to continue to fill the gap down and go higher, but you just never know. And what was interesting about this play is I called this out in chat too later on in the day, as it came back down to the low of day and did the same thing. You see the selling pressure building up, and then as soon as it cracks this $5 mark, even dollar amount at $5, you really just see it rocket. Much like what we saw here on the long side, you see it on the short side going down. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of what we're looking at and looking for in these setups, at least what I am anyway. It gives you kind of some insight as to what you can do with Strategy Desk in these different formula columns. If you guys have questions about that stuff, shoot me an email and I'll help you out as much as I can. Otherwise, you can see here once again the momentum upward has just kind of, it's just paused. It's just kind of bouncing back and forth, bouncing back and forth. And then you'll definitely see it as it starts to go red. And sorry, I just switched off there to watch another stock because I was done playing that one at that point. But anyway, if you guys have any questions, just holler at me. Link to my email on the screen. Also, get a hold of us, Blaine or I, for the SFB Traders chat room. Been making some good plays in there, and Blaine has a lot to offer too. That's where I started out, learning what I've learned. So anyway, take care, guys.